ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। I have spent the last week in awe, appreciation, and gratitude for Sri Valmiki Rishi. Of course, from the beginning of Ramayana, we have that regard, but particularly this week, because I was having a difficult time making sense of certain words in this chapter. And I didn't realize what they meant, so I had to take some help. And I couldn't go beyond the first 2 or 4 verses of this chapter because they are so beautiful. Before describing the beauty of these verses, I want to ask you if you have gone to a place called Tirupulani. If you have, and you remember the place, then close your eyes and go to that lovely place called Tirupulani. When Maharaj took all of the devotees to Tirupulani, I was not there, but I went less than a couple of months ago, exactly 2 months ago. And it has made such a strong impression in my mind. First of all, that place in Tirupulani. So Tirupulani is about 100 kilometers or so south of Rameshwaram. From Rameshwaram, if you go out, you go to Dhanushkodi, which is the place where the bridge was. And from there, if you take a ride 100 kilometers or so south, you reach a place called Tirupulani. And Tirupulani is the place where this chapter.
Prabhu, I am nowhere, okay, in the picture. I just want to show. My job is to show where they go, that we will do this. So please don't think I'm bragging it. मेरा फोटो कभी नहीं है, मैंने फोटो दिया ही नहीं है. No, the way I took it is, see, we are somewhat.
So Tirupulani is that place where this chapter actually takes place. This event takes place. That they were looking for a suitable place from where they can cross over, and seemingly this is the shortest place possibly. And they came here And Vibhishana had told Sri Ramachandra that please take shelter or perform Sharanagati to the ocean, Varunadev, and I'm sure he will let you pass. And in this place, Tirupulani, the temple is called Adi Jagannath temple. Also, the deity is called Darbha Shayi Rama. Darbha is grass, Shayi is lying down, as we hear Garbhodaka Shayi, Karnodaka Shayi, and Kshirodaka Shayi Vishnu. Similarly, this is Darbha Shayi Rama. And the reason the deity is such that he is lying down on Kushagras. And I want to share with you the experience or the incident that happened with me. Because I've been studying this section and we're about to come, I went to this temple. There was not much rush, hardly any. I was sitting in front of the deity. I opened this particular chapter and I was reading the verses. There was no one else. The pujari was there. And the pujari just stood quietly there while I'm reading out these verses. And as I'm reading these verses and I look up, the deity is exactly as if the words got out of the book and showed themselves as the deity, which means the verse that I'm going to read, that Valmiki ji has written, is exactly describing how the deity is, or the deity is exactly describing Valmiki's verses from word to word. Okay, so be prepared for that. So this chapter begins with Tataha. Tataha means then, at that point, which is the at what point? Once Vibhishana said to Sri Ramachandra, please perform Sharanagati. So there is, even before beginning this chapter, the word Tata has so much meaning. I'll read the verse and then we'll go word by word. Tataha Sagara Velayam Darbhan Astirya Raghava Anjalim Pranmukha Krutva Pratishishye Mahodadhe. Okay, that's the verse. Simple meaning is, then at the shore of the ocean, Sagara Velayam, Darbhan Astirya, Ramachandra, having spread out Darbha or Kushagras, Raghava, Anjalim, with his hands in a supplicative or prayerful, appealing posture. Pranmukha Krutva, Pranmukha is facing east. Pratishishye is, if you don't go very specific, Pratishishye, lay down, Mahodade, at the ocean. Mahodade. So that's pretty much the verse. Now let's go to Tataha. And I sent you a link so you can follow along looking at the verse. Tataha, at that point. So simply speaking, it is at that point where Vibhishana said, please perform Sharanagati. True. The question though is, why Vibhishana would even recommend something like this when just a few verses before, Vibhishana declared, Sarvaloka Sharanyaya Raghavaya Mahipate. That Ramachandra is the Sharanya of the entire universe. After knowing that, after taking shelter of Ramachandra, he recommends to Sri Ramachandra, you take shelter of Varuna Deva. Now, Varuna is, after all, a Devata, and all Devatas look up to, take shelter of, are under the care of the Supreme Lord, Sri Ramachandra. So one reason we discussed last time, that Vibhishana only knows that Sharanagati works. Now, we are students of Sri Rupa Goswami, and we understand that The relationship with the Lord is a very dynamic one, and the bhavas move from one feature to another in every instant. So in one bhava, Vibhishana sees Sri Ramachandra as the Supreme Lord. And for the pastime to continue, suddenly Vibhishana, instead of seeing Ramachandra as the Supreme Lord, now sees him as a brother, because Ramachandra has accepted him as a friend and a brother. Because Sugriva said, as one among us. Now, suddenly, as he sees himself as a friend or a brother of Sri Ramachandra, then he just gave brotherly advice. So it is within that rasa, as perfectly all right for him to say, take shelter of the ocean, the god of the ocean. So tataha at that point. Tataha, now Ramachandra really doesn't need to take shelter of anyone, but in his bhava as my devotee has said something to me, so I should follow. He is very much bound by the words of his devotees. Whatever they say, he does. Now, previously, Sita Devi looked at the golden deer and said, I want that deer. He could have said no. But the word used in Bhagavatam is Daita. Daita means out of great affection. Ramachandra considered, in so many years we've been in the forest, and it's very, very difficult. For example, it's winter in North America, and for most of us, it is brutally cold. Even when we are wearing jackets and hats and gloves, it is cold. Sri Ramachandra was wearing jute bark or tree bark, that's jute, and deer skin, lying down on the bare floor, taking bath in the cold winter waters. And so was she, and so was Lakshmana. And Sita Devi never asked anything. In 13 years, she never asked anything. So one request she makes, and Ramachandra's heart is melted, Daita. So he follows whatever his devotees ask him of. Similarly, when Vibhishana said, please do this, he said, yes. So tataha sagara velayam darbha nasti raghava anjalim pranmukha kritva pratishishye. Now, shishya, sheshya comes from the word to lie down. Pratisheshye. The word prati, now this is where I got help from a wonderful person. He's the husband of one of the devotees here who joins our class. And he's very good with Samskrita. So I wanted to know his view on a certain verse, these two verses, first, second verses, and he pointed me to something which really was very joyful to hear. So the word, the prefix prati is used in terms of equality. So pratishishye or means in front of an ocean, another ocean lay down. So the reference to that is in Kamba Ramayana, where Kamban says, in front of an ocean, another big ocean lay down. Now, this ocean is an ocean of salt water. And this ocean is an ocean of mercy. Daya Sagar, Dayanidhi. Ramachandra is an ocean of auspicious qualities. One of the outstanding qualities is his compassion. And so this ocean lay down Pratishishye in front of that ocean. Now an ocean, next chapter we'll hear. An ocean is called Ratna Garbha because all jewels are found in an ocean. Plus he says Maha Udade. Maha Udadi is with great amount of water, It means that the ocean is broad, long as well, and very deep. And the ocean holds the greatest secrets. So another name for an ocean is Ratnakara, because that's where jewels are found. So it is almost impossible for anyone to fathom the length and breadth, and what to speak of the depth of the ocean. It holds the greatest secrets. It is very grave, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Among grave personalities, I'm the ocean. So the Supreme Lord is also Ratnakara. All the jewels, which are wonderful, wonderful qualities, are hidden in him. And he's very grave. It's hard to find out what he's thinking unless he speaks it, or unless his devotees who are mano abhishtam, they can express what is in the Lord's heart. So one great ocean lay down in opposite another ocean. So the word prati in terms of equality. So since I heard this yesterday, it's been ringing in my mind. And the verse I could compare it to is in Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Instruction. He says, Dadati Prati Grandhati. He doesn't say Dadati Grandhati, Prati Grandhati. Now, Prati Grandhati means to take or to receive. But Prati Grandhati, in terms of equality, it means some devotees think that in a relationship, I should only give. I should not take from anyone, because taking makes me arrogant or proud, or it's hard for me to take, but I'm happy to give. Pratigranati is the when you receive also. Now, receive equally. That means you give generously and you also receive generously. If you don't receive, then it stops the other person's opportunity to give. And for a loving relationship, because he says Satvidha Priti Lakshanam, for the symptoms of affection to grow between two persons, especially devotees, because Rupa Goswami is speaking about devotees, both giving and equally taking, receiving must be there. So that's the thing on Prati. Okay, so Ramachandra lay down. How did he lie down? Here Valmiki takes his time to give us a description in many, many verses of Sri Ramachandra's arms, especially his right arm. And he says, Bahum Bhujanga Bhogam Upadhaya Arisudanaha Jatu Rupamayeschaiva Bhushanair Bhushitam Pura. Bahum, he took his hand. Bhujanga Bhoga. Bhujanga Bhoga means the body of, or in the form of a snake. Ramachandra's arms are very shining, slithering, and supple like that of a snake. Bhujanga Bhoga. Bhujanga Bhoga. Upadhaya. Upadhaya means as a support, as a pillow. Upadhaya Arisudanaha. Ramachandra was the killer of enemies, because his arms are being spoken of. So Arisudana, his arms, when he put his right hand under his neck and used the arm as a pillow. And how is his arm looking like? Not only here are all the descriptions. So if you'd like to take notes, all the list of descriptions of Ramachandra's arm. Bhujanga Bhoga. Bhujanga Bhoga Abha. Abha means like, or the abhas, or this looks like. Jatu Rupamai Yescha. Jatu Rupamai. The phrase Jatu Rupa. So this person, this devotee, explained to me that Jatu Rupa is generally used in reference to shining like gold. So his arm was slithering and shining because previously Bhushanair Bhushitam Pura. Previously, that arm was decorated with a lot of jewelry. What kind of jewelry? Mani Kanchana Keyura Mukta Pravara Bhushanaihi. Abhushana is the ornaments. Pravara, best of, excellent. Keyura. Keyura is armlets. This is what they wear here on the arm. It's called Keyura. Manikanchana. So gold studded with money. Money is sometimes pearls or in general gems. So Jata Rupamayaischeva. This hand, this arm that was always shining because of being studded with jewelry of gems in gold. And so that's the third one. Then Bhujaihi Paramanarinam Paramanarinam Abhimrishtam Anekada, many times, Paramanarinam. Some excellent women used to massage his arms. So one reference, excellent women, Paramanari, are Kausalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi, the mothers. Or another meaning is the royal maids in the palace of Ramachandra would massage his arms many times, or every day in one sense, to give him the royal bath. Okay, what did they massage his arms with? Chandana aguru bhischaiva, with sandalwood and aguru. So these are very fragrant. Purastad abhisevitam. Purastad, previously, these great women or excellent women used to massage his arms with sandalwood and aguru. And by that massaging and applying of sandalwood, which is all part of royal decoration and offering of respect and royalty to a king, how did Ramachandra look like? Bala Surya Prakashaischa. Ramachandra's body glistened like the rising sun. Bala Surya. Chandanair Upashobhitam. So as his body was fully decorated with chandan, he looked like the rising sun. He was golden in color. And the same arm that looked effulgent, yellow looking or golden looking, there was another purpose for that hand. One, the great ladies massaged it. It was a place for all the jewelry. Then, Shayane cha Uttamange Nasitayaha Shobhitam Pura. Previously, this arm was the resting place or the pillow of Sita Devi's head. That means Sita Devi would lie down on his arm. Uttamanga means head. Uttamanga Sitayaha Shobhitam Pura. This arm was decorated by Sita Devi's head. And how did it look like? Takshakasyeva sambhogam Ganga Jala Nishevitam. Takshaka, who appears in Sri.
Yeah, you need to send me a picture though.
Oh, he has to be good.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to meet him or anything like that. I'm just gonna go do my own thing.
Okay.
So you can sum up for the words. Right.
Takshaka appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but is a reddish hued snake. And that reddish hue on Ganga Jala Nishevitam, on a sheet as white and pure as Ganga Jala. So when Ramachandra was lying down on with his arm like that, with Sita Devi resting on his head, it looked as if Takshaka is swimming in the Ganges. Okay, that's from the beauty and romantic side of I'm using the word romantic, the Madhurya side of Sri Ramachandra. Do these arms have any other role to play? Yes. Some yuge yuga sankasha shatrunam shokavardhanam. When it comes to fighting or in battle, some yuge yuga sankasham. It used to be brilliant like yuga. Yuga means that fire that appears at the time of destruction. Yuga samkasham shatrunam shokavardhanam. Vardhana means to grow. This would increase the shoka or distress in the enemies. Remember, I used the word arisudana before. Oh, so Ramachandra's arms are so powerful that the enemies would feel great amount of distress, growing, intensifying distress. Oh, but wait. But when you approach him with a friendly attitude, Suhrada Nandanam Dirgham Sagaranta Vyapashrayam. But if you are a Suhrada, Nandanam Dirgham, Nandanam, intense joy, intense pleasure. His friends would feel intense pleasure because Ramachandra would put his arm round their shoulders. Oh, and one more, sorry. Samyuge Yuga Sankasham. Yuga here means a yoke. You know, what you put around on the bull's humps, that's called a yoke. It connects the bulls to the plow. So in wartime, some yuge yuga samkasham. He was like the yoke that brought everyone into a fighting mode. That he was the plow, like the yoke that caught everyone. So this Ramachandra, asyata cha punaha savyam jaghata vihatpacham. Now his left hand, unlike his right hand, his left hand and his arm here was full of marks because asyata, he would release arrows and the string of the bow would hit against the left arm. So his skin here was rough. Dakshine, dakshinam bahu, dakshino dakshinam bahu. And then his right hand, he's speaking about his left and right hand. Bahum mahaparigha sannibham. His right hand looked like a strong weapon. That means it was almost like a gada, nice rounded shoulder, powerful arms. But that right hand, which was very powerful, go sahasra pradataram. With that right hand, he gave thousands of cows in charity. Now, that same hand, upadhaya bhujam mahat, he used as a pillow. So this arm is compared to a slithering snake lying down on his right hand. And if you see the deity of Dharmashahi Rama, he's exactly like that. His arm carved like a serpentine or serpentine shape, lying down, looking towards the ocean. What a beautiful deity, and exactly this verse is appearing as you read them. And then Ramachandra took what is called prayopavas. Prayopavesha means fasting, complete fasting. Of course, no eating. It also means no drinking and no sleeping. So for 3 days and nights, he was fully awake, not eating, not drinking. And his sankalpa was that this will only bring out one of two outcomes. Adyame taranam va. Either I will cross over to that side. Atha maranam sagarasya va. Because if he does not allow me a passage, I will kill him. Iti Ramo dhrutim krutva mahabahur mahodadhim. Dhritim krutva. He made this determination, this bold sankalpa, that whatever it is, I will cross over that ocean. Now, because he's taking Sharanagati, it is said that for 3 days you have to wait for that person to respond. This is, I guess, the rule, if you will, or the understanding, the protocol within Dharma. There's a story in Kathopanishad. A little boy called Nachiketa went to Yamaraj's palace. Yamaraj was not there. So he waited for 3 days and 3 nights fasting for Yamaraj to return. So it has a certain significance, 3 days. Adishishye cha vidhivat prayato niyato munihi. So as he was lying down with this sankalpa, now that sankalpa is not a loose, half-hearted. Prayato niyato munihi. Prayato means his body is completely under control. Niyataha, his mind is also under control. And munihi, he has taken a vow of silence. So with his body, mind, and words, because all three are required, right? Sharanagati. So Ramachandra lay down. Now, 3 nights have passed. Everybody around Ramachandra is also waiting quietly. Nothing has happened. Tasya Ramasya Suptasya Kushatirne Mahitale Niyamadapta Pramatasya Nishaha Stri Abhijagmatuhu. 3 nights passed away while Ramachandra is lying down on the ground over Kushagras. The ocean did not come. Although Ramachandra had honored the ocean, Ramachandra was in a very appealing mood. From that side, the ocean, the deity Varuna did not manifest his form. He did not respond to Ramachandra's plea. Now, I intentionally didn't say something, but we're going to point to something very quickly. Samudrasya tataha krudho Ramo raktantalochanaha. Samipasthamupa uvachedam Lakshmanam Shubhalakshanam. Shubhalakshanam, yeah. Because in 3 nights, Sagara did not come, not Sagara, yeah, Varuna did not come. Ramachandra, who has reddish hue in his eyes, Raktantalochana, Ramo Kurudho. Ramachandra became very angry. Samipasthad Lakshmana, and turned to Lakshmana, who was nearby. He's always there. And he spoke to Lakshmana in an angry tone. Now, when you envision Sri Ramachandra lying down on his arm that slithered like a snake, one ocean-like personality lying down on a snake, which was his arm, what's the picture you get in your mind? Who is the personality who lies down on a snake in an ocean? The Supreme Lord, Sri Vishnu or Narayana. So in this point, Ramachandra is not in the bhava of a manusha or a human being. He has taken on the bhava of Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu or Narayana. So this is Mahaprakash Leela of one sort. And when Varuna, who's technically subordinate, did not appear, Then his eyes, which have a reddish fiber in it, with that anger, he addressed Lakshmana. So the question is, back when the Ramayana started, Valmiki asked Narada Muni, Kon Vaswin, who is there, who is an embodiment of all 16 qualities? And of those 16 qualities, there were two qualities that are exactly contrary to each other. One quality says, Jitha Krodha, one who has all control over his anger. Jita Krodha. That means he has won over anger. And then near the end of the list, he says, Kasyad Bibhrati Devanam Jata Roshasya Samyuge. Who is he who can become so angry that even the demigods become scared of? These are two very contradictory qualities. So it means that for himself, how much ever insult or how much ever attack or whatever is provoked in Ramachandra, Jita Krodha. He never becomes angry. But his anger manifests when someone very dear to him, his dear devotees, are put in distress. So in this case, his anger is coming out of this intense separation, thinking what Sita Devi is going through. She has a deadline. She's going to give up her life. And who is this Varuna who will not come in front of me when although I should have just said Varuna, and he should have shown up here. But I gave him the honor of 3 days, 3 nights, no eating, no drinking, no sleeping, to appease him. And he's not appeased. So he turns to Lakshmana. And very important is, very quickly, we know Lakshmana. Lakshmana Deva is such a devoted brother and servant of Sri Ramachandra that anyone who upsets Sri Ramachandra, or seemingly even if Ramachandra is not upset, Lakshmana Deva feels, oh, this is going to be unbearable or unfavorable for Sri Ramachandra. Lakshmana becomes angry. His very, very angry form shows up. When Dasharatha asked Ramachandra to go to the forest, although Kaikeyi asked and Dasharatha was silent, it means Dasharatha asked, Lakshmana became so angry. He said, you are rightfully the person who should sit on the throne of Ayodhya. How dare Dasharatha, listening to his wife, does not accept that? I will kill Dasharatha. You become the king because it's rightfully yours. Kill your own father? Ramachandra had to cool him down. Then when they are near Chitrakuta, they've not even gone there, they're near the bank of the Ganges, Bharata brings an entire army to show Ramachandra that it's not just me, the entire Ayodhya wants you. But Lakshmana looks from afar and sees an army with the flag carrying the Govida tree, the fig tree, as a symbol of Bharata. Lakshmana says, I will finish Bharata. And Shatrughna was all, I'll finish everyone if they're coming to attack you. Later, when Sugriva has not communicated things that he has done, Ramachandra sends a stern message, but he tells Lakshmana, just say the message, don't do anything else, because Lakshmana is ready to finish off. He walks with such a intensity that the entire Kishkinda is shaking. That Lakshmana, here Valmiki says, Shubha Lakshana, all auspicious, benevolent, qualityed Lakshmana. Because there's something Lakshmana is going to do different than his character, or if his mood, if you will. So Ramachandra said, Avalepaha samudrasya na darshayati yah swayam. How arrogant is this Samudra that he does not show himself up here. Prashamshah kshama chaiva arjavam priyavadita. I have shown him respect. I have been tolerant. I've been very simple. Then he says, asamarthya phalam hyete nirguneshu satam gunaha atma prasamsitam dushtam dhrushtam viparidhavakam. Oh, this Samudra is so much vain about his own power and his own self and position that he has not come in front of me. In this world, if you want to make friends, then you cannot throw, or in America you cannot flex. You cannot show your fame or popularity or victory. It pushes people away, it doesn't bring closer to you. Today, this deep ocean, which is full of makaralaya, alligators, crocodiles, timingala fish, whales, and all varieties of fish, I will split it in such a way that they will all be floating dead on that on the ocean. So I will dry this ocean in such a way that not only the aquatics, but all the conches, shells, pearls, fish, they will all be visible. Usually in an ocean, nothing is visible because it's covered with water. It says everything will become visible. They will all die and float. I will separate this whole ocean away. Just because I have been tolerant and mild, this ocean, he thinks my mildness, my calmness, and my being very humble is a sign of my weakness. It is not my sign of weakness. That's what he thinks. I'm weak. I will show him. Lakshmana chapamanaya saumitre sharamschashi vishoshanpamanam samudram shoshayishyami padbhyam yantu plavangamam. Lovely verse. So first he gives an order to Lakshmana. Chapamanaya. Anayati means to bring or brings. Anaya, there's an order. Lakshmana, bring my bow. Chapam anaya. Okay. But Lakshmana is hesitating. Remember, the previous verses we heard Lakshmana Shubha Lakshana. So I think it is Periyavachan Pillai. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm assuming it is him who gives a commentary on this verse. He says, Chapam Anaya, bring that bow right now. He orders. But Lakshmana is hesitating. Because he is hesitating, Ramachandra says, he didn't say, please bring. There is no request. Chapam Anaya, bring it right now. And when Lakshmana is hesitating again, he addresses him as Saumitre. He didn't call him Lakshmana. He called him Saumitre. It is to remind him that you are the son of Sumitra. Sumitra Devi ordered you back in Ayodhya. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi. You should know that Ramachandra is a father to you now. Or the hidden meaning was Ramachandra is the one who flies on Garuda, Dasharatha. He is the supreme Lord. Ma pramadam karshi. So don't become inattentive in your service. So what are you waiting for? Lakshmana, bring that bow. Lakshmana doesn't. And not just the bow, bring arrows. Sharamscha. And what kind of sharam? Ashi. The arrows that look like venomous snakes. Ahi vishopamanam. Ahi visha. They emit poisonous flames and heat like deadly snakes. Sharamshchash ahi. So we know Vali was killed with one arrow. Ramachandra showed Sugriva that he can penetrate 7 sala trees. They were not even in straight line. 7 sala trees were very thick wood with an arrow. That arrow went into the ground, went to Patala, and came back into his kuva. So one arrow is only required. There is even a verse. Dviram Dvi Sharam Nabhisandhatte. Ramachandra does not need to mount a second arrow if once he shoots an arrow. But in this case, he says Sharamscha, bring plural, bring many arrows that all resemble snakes or the emit poisonous fumes like snakes. Why many? He is in so much agony of separation from Sita Devi that he believes one is not necessary. Just bring all my arrows or as many arrows, my quiver filled with arrows. Lovely bhava. And what am I going to do? Samudram soshayishyami. I will dry up this entire ocean. Oh, there won't be any water left. Padbhyam yanti plavangama. My monkeys, then my army doesn't need a bridge, doesn't need boats, they don't need to jump. They will walk to Lanka. And Peryavachan Pillai brings our attention to the word Samudra. Samudram Shoshaishyami. He got the title Samudra because of my ancestor. His existence is because of my ancestor Sagara. His sons, my forefathers, dug this entire earth, which got filled with water, and then Samudra showed up. I will dry up the entire ocean. Padbhyam yanti plavangavaha. I am so provoked by anger. Adya akshobhyam api kruddha. Akshobhya api. That is so much anger in me. Kruddha. Kshobhayishyami sagaram. I will also torment him like anything. Sagaram. Sagaram, coming from the word sagara. Velasu kritamayardam. Kritamaryadam. Kritamaryadam velasu sahasro urmi samakulam. This ocean that has thousands of waves has not responded to me. So I will torment him in such a way that his waters will cross over the boundaries of the shore. Velasu krita maryadam. The ocean will go beyond. We know the ocean is such that thousands of rivers are constantly filling him, but he does not cross the limit. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, referring to the mind of a yogi, he says, many, many rivers flowing, but the ocean is always calm. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtham. Apuryamanam. He is being filled. Achalam pratishtham, but he is always remaining steady. But that ocean today, I will make by my arrows, make the ocean cross its boundaries. It crosses boundaries because in between everything has been removed. Nirmaryadam karishyami. Sayakair varunalayam maharnavam kshobhayishyasye mahadanava samkulam. The ocean is also the place where the Danavas live. So I will remove all of the water such that the Danavas will become exposed. Saying like this, Ramachandra, who was so angry, By this time, he has his bow in his hand because Lakshmana cannot defy the order. He was just very slow in bringing the bow. Evam uktva dhanishpanihi krodha visparita ikshanaha. His eyes were almost like bulging and about to explode with anger. Babhuva Ramo Durdharsho Yuganta Agnir Iva Jwalan. Ramachandra manifested himself to look like the fire at the end of destruction. The fire of end of destruction comes from Anantasesha, who's standing right there. But Ramachandra is manifesting this bhava. Sampidya cha dhanurghoram kampayitva sharair jagat mumocha vishikamanugra vajran iva shakratu. When Ramachandra was bending this arrow, it was an indication to the ocean, just the way I am bending this bow, not arrow, I'm bending this bow, I am going to make you bend in supplication. You're very arrogant. And just the way Indra is very powerful, he manifested himself as the power of Indra, or as powerful as Indra. Now with this great arrows that are shining and very powerful, Ramachandra, I'm skipping some verses because I think I've noticed time's really cut. Ramachandra started threatening the ocean again and again, and there are some verses about, you can read from verse 28 to 33. 32. In 33, Tatastu tam Raghava Mugravega Prakarshamanam Dhanuprameyam Saumitri Rupatya Saumitri Rutpatya Vinishwasanta Mameti Choktava Dhanuralalambe. When Lakshmana saw Ramachandra's fury as he's bending his bow and stringing it and ready to mount this arrow, or he had just mounted this arrow on his bow, saying, I will completely finish anything called an ocean. All the aquatics will be floating dead. All the pearls and jewels will be exposed. The Danavas aboard will all become exposed. I will finish up this entire ocean. And it looked like the fire of devastation. Lakshmana very quickly saw Ramachandra, who is holding this mighty bow with powerful arrows by which the entire ocean is about to shake up. Lakshmana saw Ramachandra exhaling with such anger that very quickly Lakshmana held the bow of Ramachandra, Dhanur Alalambe, and said, Ma iti cha uktva. Please not. No, don't do it. Don't do it. This is the first time Lakshmana is saying, don't do it. And he's going to explain why. He says, your purpose of somehow getting all of the Vanaras to that side, to Ravana's Lanka, will be successful, even without drying up the ocean. Please don't become angry like this. I'm sure there is some other way by which is nobler, or a different way for you to take the entire army to that side. Please don't do this. And while Lakshmana is begging, all the rishis, Brahmanas, and the celestial Brahma rishis and other rishis also came into the sky, and very loudly they were saying, no, ma iti choktva, Mahata Swarena, with loud voices, they were also begging Sri Ramachandra, no, please don't do it, please don't do it. This is the anger that Ramachandra shows, both in terms of his love for Sita, plus the rishis and Lakshmana have come to tell Ramachandra, not the time to manifest your supreme personality of Godhead form and mood. This is the avatar in which you are manifesting yourself like a human being. If you dry up the ocean, then everybody will know that you are the supreme personality of Godhead. And Ravana, for him to be killed, you have to carry the bhav of a human being. Other poets who are fans of Ramayana in the past, hundreds of years ago, give another meaning, two meanings for Lakshmana to intervene and say, no, please don't do it. In our tradition, generally, if you have what's called a Ghar Jamai is son-in-law who lives in the house of the father-in-law. Such a son-in-law is not seen with respect because he's meant to go and take care of his life. But in this entire universe, there are two sons-in-law who are eternally residing in the houses or in the abode of their fathers-in-law. One is the great Shiva Deva, Rudra Deva, Mahashiva. Shiva married Parvati, the daughter of Himalaya Parvata, and lives eternally on Kailash, which is the Himalayas. So he is a Gharjama. Other is our Lord Vishnu, who married the daughter of the ocean, because when the ocean was churned, one of the personalities who manifested was Sita Devi. That Sita Devi, Lakshmi Devi, that Lakshmi Devi married Lord Vishnu. And where does Vishnu reside? In the ocean. So in his father-in-law's abode. So Lakshmana stopped Ramachandra from firing an arrow into the ocean, saying, that's your father-in-law. Let's spare him. Don't. Another bhava is, just as for Sharanagati, we need the access to the Lord through the devotee. It is the devotees who intervene to protect us. If for some reason the Lord is upset, the Lord can get upset. But the devotees form the line of protection. After all, Varuna is a devotee of the Lord. So Lakshmana intervened. No, he's after all a devotee. He please don't show that anger. The same way of how Sita Devi or Srimati Radharani intervene on behalf of the devotee to appease the Lord, if at all such a situation is required. She is the one. Here, Lakshmana, as the guru, is playing that role of being that layer of protection for the devotee, saying to the Lord, please forgive him. So please don't necessarily shoot your arrows into this ocean and dry him up. So with that ends this chapter. We'll find out next week what happens with Varuna. Does he come out? Does he say something? And how the story continues from there. So any questions, comments, your thoughts, reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I couldn't do justice to the chapter, although this chapter is full of lovely verses. I feel like a little handicapped. When reading for myself, I was jumping with joy. I'm not sure it came out the way I had intended it, but it is what it is. Yes, Krita Lakshana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for such a nice class. I was reminded of Jagai Madai pastime when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also got very angry, although the circumstances were different, but he was about to manifest his
Yes.
divinity, so to speak. So it was a nice refresher, so to speak. My question is, the analogy that was given initially was that of Sharanagati, right? Vibhishana said, in the mood of Sharanagati, that Lord Ramchandra has to appease Varuna, or the ocean god.
Hmm.
Now suddenly in Sharanagati, at least my understanding is, the person who gives has also free will, that he may and may not. And now suddenly the mood is flipped from, so to speak, of humility or subordinate position to a superior position.
Yeah.
Although Lord Ramchandra is intrinsically or eternally supreme, but then in this pastime, there's a complete flip. How do we understand that?
It's the bhava. Remember, I expressed that suddenly is the Mahaprakash. He's now manifested himself as the Supreme Lord. And in his extreme angst of separation from Sita Devi, he's showing this anger towards Varuna, which Lakshmana intervenes to appease him or to calm him down. So it's an expression of Prakash. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would close his ears, anyone who told him you're God, and run into the Ganges river saying Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. That same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat on the altar of Shiva's Pandit, told them bring water and do my Abhishek, and told them all, I am now the Lord. So there is a certain Mahaprakash, there's a bhav that is being demonstrated. It's all within the spirit of the pastime, but there is also the outpouring of his personality here. And he does it in different places in the Ramayana. In other places, it's a little bit more, I guess, subtle. When he's so happy with Jatayu, he says, Gacha Lokan Anuttamam. Go to that planet of the place of the eternal celestial abode. How can a human being give anyone mukti? But he manifested himself as the Supreme Lord. But it was in a very favorable, out of love for Jatayu. Here also, and he'll come back again, but here too, just before this episode, he told Lakshmana, perform Abhishek to Vibhishana, and we declare him the king of Lanka. And logically, someone may say, you haven't seen Lanka, you haven't crossed over yet. You can't even see Lanka from here. You haven't crossed over yet. You haven't fought the war. You don't know if you're going to win or not. Especially Ravana is so invincible. And here you've crowned or coronated Vibhishana as the king. All little places, if we hold in carefully, although Valmiki makes sure that he writes the Ramayana in the same spirit of the bhav of the Lord, to be a Manusham Manya. I consider myself a human being. There are places where he shows that he's the Supreme Lord. Especially when it is about those who are very dear to him. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. If there's time, I'll ask one more, but I'll wait.
Yeah, let's see if someone else has.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Vikrita Lakshana, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. You mentioned about Lord Ramchandra being Jita Krodha and also manifesting anger that could terrify the demigods.
Yeah,
Um, I kind of missed the point. How did we reconcile the two seeming inconsistencies?
that any provocation that is pointed towards him, he doesn't become angry. Anywhere his devotees are hurt or blasphemed, then he becomes very angry, and so angry, especially fighting the demons, that even the devatas become completely scared. Kasya bhibhyati devascha. The demigods become scared of him. Jata roshasya samyuge. Especially in a fighting spirit, his anger is such. And he is in that spirit right now.
Thank you very much.
Mm. That's bhava is of Narsimhadev, bhava is of Rudra, that he's showing. Okay, anyone else? Any reflection? Anything touched you? You like the description of Sri Ramachandra's arms? Like a snake, slithering like a snake. And the qualities of his arms, giving in charity, adorned with jewels or ornaments, being massaged by very, very amazing personality of women, etc. For her, my favorite was the pillow for Sita Devi. Uttamanga Sitayaha. Okay, nothing else. Thank you.
Uh,
We'll...
I
Oh,
have.
yes. Go ahead.
I was just remembering how Lakshmana used to get. He got angry when he came to know about Rama should be banished to forest. So I could see how he gets angry when something like when Rama is in such like for his service he was angry, he was showing his anger, but when Rama is angry now he is taking the other mode. So it was really interesting for me to see his service mode.
Yeah.
And also
Amazing.
yesterday I heard Dinabandhu Prabhu's lecture, and he was talking about like a son he has to just stay alive to get the property from his father. So in the same way, we all have to just try to somehow stay alive in Krishna consciousness, and then we'll be taken care uh, with the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So it was just reminding me that like devotee and Guru, and I remember you used to tell us this example when there is a auto going, and then a guy on a bike, he just holds on to that and he'll be taken by that auto or the vehicle. So I was just remembering that we have to just hold
Oh,
on to devotees and then we'll be taken.
yes, the grace of the devotees. And that's all that will carry us. Our part is to hold on.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you very much.
Like the description of Lord Rama's arm, it's so
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
beautiful. Next week, we will see Ramachandra shoot, or at least prepare to shoot the Brahmastra. Actually, yes, but we will visit a verse as to why the Brahmastra did not dry up the ocean. We'll hear from Sri Vedanta Deshika on that one. But thank you very much. Sita Rama Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki jai. Shri रामायण की जय, वाल्मीकि महर्षि की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।